Welcome to another episode of Under the Surface. I'm Levi Polzin at Levi Warner on Instagram. Today we're going to be doing a run through of this tattoo. Why does it work? We're going to draw some diagrams and kind of figure out if we can dissect why this tattoo has worked and why it was pretty important to tattoo history, especially in modern time. All right, let's get into it. So yeah, today I'm pulling from this pretty famous Shige back piece of this Hannya and cherry blossoms with wind. I feel like this tattoo was really important to tattooing in the last 10 years and moving forward and kind of pushing tattooing in a lot of regards. Taking it from this Shige book that came out in 2009, which we'll probably eventually do a run through. But yeah, just today I want to cover this tattoo, why it works. I've got it all loaded up on my iPad, and we'll kind of just see what's going on here. All right, so here I've got it all loaded up on my iPad. I tried to make it as big as possible for you guys just so we could really kind of get a clear look at it. And I'll probably expand a couple things when I get into it as well. So once again, just like before, we're going to just outline the body here just so we can get a really clear definition of the form of this person's body. Because that, I feel like, is always important. That's what Shige was looking at when he was designing this tattoo. So we're going to do the same. The body form is always first and foremost. All right, gonna make a new layer here just to do the design elements. Yeah, firstly, I think one of the striking things that makes this tattoo really important was kind of what I went into with that Ed Hardy Panther back. It's just the sheer size of the Hannya mask. I mean, we've seen full back Hannyas, especially in Japanese tattoos, that nothing really new. The scale on this one was a little bit bigger, I feel like. And really the angle and how it kind of cut off on the side of this person's body, I feel like was the kind of defining feature really of it. Usually when you would see a big Hannya on a back, it's usually centered right on a back, something, like this, and that was about the scale of it. So, I mean, really, if we're looking at the scale, it's not too much bigger than what you would normally see. But really, I feel like the positioning of this Hannya on the back is what really made it stand out. So, yeah, we're going to look at that. I really love how it kind of rides kind of the midpoint of the back. And obviously that's kind of due to the fact that he wanted to include this horn in here, right? And it wouldn't have been able to fit in if the mask was really any higher. But I feel like this really adds a lot of interest to the piece, to where, if you think about somebody that wearing their pants right around their waist right here, I mean, half of this thing is kind of obscured. But it's really interesting. It's the positioning. And I think that was really groundbreaking at the time when this came out. When people were really starting to see it before 2009. I can't remember when this back was done, but I feel like I remember seeing it around maybe even 2007 or so. If you remember when this back was done, it really made a profound impact on you and your work, or just seeing it, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you kind of think. So yeah, we're going to kind of break down here. I think, so yeah, aside from that, this whole tattoo, once again, is we're kind of looking at, and we're, I feel like I repeat myself, but so much is just really kind of geometry of the body and picking a direction in which you want the flow. And obviously Shige picked this kind of vertical angle for everything on this tattoo. And he's got a couple things kind of going against that. There's a swirl down here that kind of falls within it, but is going on kind of a more of a horizontal plane. And then same, this kind of wind going across on a horizontal plane as well. But everything else is kind of moving at this angle down. Hide this, make a new layer. Like even, so we've got this big swirl here, right? That's really causing a lot of the movement. And that big wind swirl there is also mimicked by the pull of the eye direction, mouth direction, and even the pull of these cherry blossoms here. They're all kind of going in the same direction. And I really feel like, especially in the cherry blossoms, the movement of that cherry blossoms echo the movement of the wind swirl. And he literally does it right down here. If I hide this, you know, you can see it very clearly. You know, he's literally putting, you know, I'm echoing that within the wind swirl, literally in the wind swirl, he's putting those cherry blossoms moving in it. So, you know, it's just smart design, you know, for the sizing of this. It might have looked kind of odd having another big wind swirl up here, but he really, I'm guessing, wanted to reiterate that movement and ended up doing that same movement within subject matter. And I feel like that's really important for if you don't have, this doesn't have a lot of background, right? Like most of the background is on the lower half of this tattoo and then a little bit up in this corner. You know, a third, maybe like 2/3 of this tattoo is all subject matter. So you really need something to help the flow of this tattoo, which background normally lends itself to. So if you're not going to be getting that with the background, you really have to accomplish that within your subject matter. And so that's why I feel like he echoes it within the movement of the cherry blossoms, especially up top, and then the angle of everything on the Hannya mask. Everything's moving this direction, and it really feels windswept. And that was really the interesting piece for this tattoo to me, and why it was really important to me in tattooing, and it impacted me when I first saw it. It just had, for as large as it was and as large as this mask was, and it could have felt so heavy, especially with the kind of darker colors and tones that are in a lot of this, it could have felt so heavy. But yet the angles in which he uses really help move everything. And like I said, like we have this movement here, right? But then we've also kind of got the opposite moving along with the horns and, you know, parts of the mask. So really he's gridding out this back in a lot of ways, and just understands like the weight, the heaviest part I'm kind of putting in through here, and then we're kind of gonna give you some alleviation of eye like on top and bottom. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaways are the movement and repeating that within the subject matter, not only with the background. And that really is what made this tattoo so striking, and why I feel like it's kind of like one of the history's greatest tattoos, more or less. All right, so that's about it for this episode. Another short one. Remember to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Like the videos. Drop anything in the comments if you remember this tattoo and it being really impactful on you. You know, share in the comments why. Also, I've got some prints up for sale on my Instagram at Levi Warner. They're going pretty quick, and so if you want to get any of those, get in now before they're all gone. All right, see you next time, guys.